Hello, everyone. I hope you are having a great Thursday. Hi, my name is Carly Bell, and I love to do machine embroidery tutorials. And today we are continuing with our Candy Corn Quilt Shoppe Sew Along, which is a Kimberbell featured quilt. And I believe this is class number 3 for this quilt. And today we are going to be focusing on the pinwheel block. So there are a few of them in the quilt. They have a large one and a small one, and then several of those. So that is what we are going to be working on today. So I just want to check the chat real quick. I see Joe and Dee and Linda are here. Thanks so much for joining me. I hope that those of y'all that have watched the other classes are understanding the process. And I know there are several people that are still waiting for supplies to come in. So I'm hoping that you're still enjoying watching while you wait for your things to come in. If you did not complete your homework, don't worry, you are not the only one because I have not. So just to give a quick refresher, this sew along, I have all of the info that you need for it on my website. And it should be the first link you see under this video, whether you're on YouTube or Facebook. It takes you directly to the home page for this sew along on my website. And on there, it will tell you the live schedule. Now, all the classes are recorded, so you can watch the replay whenever you want. All the supplies are listed there, and the thread colors, and a free organizational chart that you can get like automatically emailed to you, and then you can print it out. And this is going to help us a lot with staying organized. And when we're doing certain blocks, like today, we're doing the pinwheels. And so I have on here, like I have one is in chevron, is the quilting, and then another is in Halloween. It tells you what thread color to do the quilting in, all that good stuff, what the size should be. So this is going to be super helpful. I'm going to be looking at this all day, all during this class to help me remember what I'm supposed to be doing, because I am not as prepared today as I would have liked to been. So we are going to be doing everything from the get-go, from the start. The only thing I have done ahead, and then I noticed when I was pulling my stuff. So in our first class, we went over how we can prepare these like folders or envelopes with all of our fabric pieces, so that we could pull it out when we're ready. That's the only thing I had done. And then as I was pulling these out, I'm realizing I don't have enough of these cut. So I need to go back and see what I did wrong and make sure I have more of that fabric, which I think I do here. Yeah, I got plenty. So I need to go cut some more squares of this fabric, because apparently I didn't cut enough. And yes, I still have a lot that's interfaced, so that's where I went wrong. I just didn't finish cutting. So any questions about the classes we've done so far? So I see if my mouse is working today. So Layla has, how can I register for the sew along? So there is no official registration. All you're doing is showing up, but I'm going to show you where all of the info is. And that is on my website. Let me change so y'all can see my computer screen. Okay, so this is the link you should see right under this video. If you don't see that link, just go to carlybell.com. All right. Depending on when you're looking at it, like right now, when you scroll, I'm sorry, you got to scroll a lot till you get to here, recent posts. It will be here. But if you're looking at this, next year, this is not going to be the most recent post. You can go up here in the menu and go to blog, embroidery, and then sew alongs right here. This is going to take you to all of my sew alongs. These are past ones I've done, and this is the one we're working on now. So we'll click on that. And this is the home page. So on here is going to give you the class schedule as far as live videos go, what we're working on, and what your homework is after that, so that we can actually complete our quilt before Halloween. The videos are going to show up on this page as they come along. So I'm going to put today's video here once we're done. And this is all of the supplies. Now, I want to bring this to your attention real quick. So this is the embroidery designs, right? This is the background quilting. This is what I'm using. And when you see me doing in class, I'm going to say I'm using, the Halloween 4 and background embroidery design. That's from this bundle. However, this bundle is pretty expensive. I want to say it's like $80, $90. But this week, if you're watching this live, Thursday, September 11th, I think the price will be good through Sunday, and go to their deal of the week. Let's see if it brings me. Okay, so this is Kimberbell deal of the week. This changes every Monday. Look at this, pumpkins and potions quilting bundle. This is not the quilting bundle that is per se made for this quilt, but they have some super cute Halloween background quilting designs, and you can substitute what I'm using for these for your blocks, and it even comes with the border, the inner border and the outer border, and this is only $23. So if you don't have any background quilting and you want some Halloween themed ones to do on this quilt, go grab this. You can put anything you want on any of the quilt blocks, kind of mix and match them all over the place. And this will save you some money. So I wanted to show you that. Back to the website. This is all of the supplies, the machine I'm using, but you can use any machine as long as it has a 5x7 hoop. This quilt is not 4x4 friendly. I don't think any Kimberbell projects, like the minimum hoop size is 5x7. This is the thread kit that you can, it's optional purchase, but I just went and found colors that are similar that I already have. And then this is your free organizational chart. So just fill out this and it will automatically email it to you. And then that's kind of the same, I guess, as registering for the sew along. But this is your guide page here. Everything you need to know is on that page. Okay, let me hide that. Okay. Oh, Patty's saying she loves the borders on the set. Yeah, the new one that is on sale this week, super cute. You could definitely use that instead of spending, the $80 for the one that's for this quilt. It comes with a little bit less, but that doesn't matter. You really can add any background quilting you want to every block you're going through. So I think that's a great cost savings. When I bought this set, it came with the quilting bundle. It came with all the embroidery designs, the quilting bundle, the embellishment kit, and some batting. I got a great deal. So always kind of be on the lookout on Kimberbell's deals of the week, because they put some really awesome deals on there every once in a while where you can get a bundle of everything. And I like right now is, Halloween, fall kind of season, but say in the next few weeks, they might put one of their spring items or Christmas items on sale, even though you might not be ready to make that right now. Grab it while it's on sale, because I bought this kit last year on sale. Okay. Yay. Okay. So Socorro, I hope I'm saying that right. This is her first sew along, her first Kimberbell quilt. She is not a quilter. Girl, you are in good company here, because I am not a quilter, and I'm nervous about today's block because we have to actually sew things that I've not done before. So I did a quick test and I made, what do you call these, half square triangles before I went live, just to make sure. I'm like, okay, I can do this. So if I can do this, you can do this. Don't worry. I would not classify myself as a quilter. I am a want to be quilter. And as my mother-in-law tells me, I cheat because I use my embroidery machine. Okay. Yeah, we have lots of friends here that are not, like, sewing is not their specialty. Quilting is not their specialty. Everyone is welcome here because we're all learning together. All right. So let's go ahead and get started. As I mentioned, we're doing the pinwheel blocks today. There are actually 3 large pinwheel blocks in this quilt and 3 small pinwheel blocks. They're all going to be made exactly the same. And what we're going to do is actually sew them or piece them together on our sewing machine first. And then once we have the cute little pinwheel made, then we're going to put it on our hoop and on our embroidery machine and do the quilting on top of it. And so that's going to be our process today. It's kind of similar to what we did in our last class with the border blocks, where some of those pieces of fabric we had to piece together first and then quilt it. It's kind of the same, but we're taking it a step further in that this is not just a simple sew the pieces of fabric together. We're making half square triangles, which I'm excited about because I think I'm going to use this process with whatever I can get out of the scraps since I cut all my fabric for this project, which now I'm thinking I'm not going to start cutting into this yet until I make sure I actually did everything right for my envelopes, because like today I realized, oh, I did not make enough cuts with this fabric. So I'm going to go double check myself before I start cutting into this. But once I know for sure, I'm going to start cutting into this and making maybe some half square triangles and do all kinds of little stuff. And I'm going to make a little scrappy table runner with this. And that might be what we would call a real quilt. My mother-in-law would tell me it's a real quilt. We will see. But that's my plan. So if you have already prepared your stuff like I have, grab your folders for the small pinwheels and the large pinwheels, or you may have put them all together in one folder. I probably should have done that. So you're going to grab that. Okay. Then according to our little chart that I made for us, we are looking at our instruction booklet that came with the quilt is page 38 is our like little visual instruction guide. And we are going to start with, let's see, I already kind of cut large pinwheel 1. That was the black and orange. So now I'm going to cut large pinwheel 2, which is the purple and green polka dot. And again, it gets matched with this white with the little teeny tiny black polka dots. So I'm going to switch all over to the craft table so we can get started. Okay. So here are my pre-cut pieces of fabric for the pinwheel. Let me put these off to the side. So each pinwheel is going to consist of 2 of our, I'm going to call these our colored blocks. And the large pinwheel is 3.5 by 3.5 squares. That's what these are. So we have 2 of our colored and 2 of our, we'll call these our whites. All right, so this is what we have. Now we're going to flip over our white ones and we are going to put some marks on them. So you're going to need your ruler and some sort of marking pen. All right, and we're going to draw it. The instructions tell you to draw 3 lines, but I think the first line is not very necessary. So I did it both ways when I was practicing with these. So I'll show you the way Kimberbell tells you to do it. And the first line is from corner to corner. You're going to draw that line. And I'll do that in purple because I got my little marker has blue and purple. Okay. So that is a little bit faint. So sorry if you can't see it. All right. Now with this line, we're going to draw 2 more lines, 1/4 inch in each direction. So I'm going to take my 1/4 inch line on my ruler, put that right over that, which for me, we'll do on the second one. You could skip drawing that line and just go ahead and start with your 1/4 inch line there. And now I'm going to draw a line on this side. And I'm going to turn it around and draw a line on this side. Where the blue lines are, we're actually going to sew. where the purple line is, that's where we're going to cut it after we sew. So with this one, I'm going to cheat and not draw the first purple line. I'm just going to put my 1/4 inch line right on my 2 corners and draw my blue lines. Okay. Doot. All right. So this one just has my sew lines done. This one has both. So you do whatever method works for you. I find it's easier to put my ruler right on these corners rather than try and get my ruler where I draw a line perfectly. Once you have this done, remember we drew on the back side of our white fabric. We drew on the back. Now we're going to take one white and one colored and put them pretty sides together. And so same thing here. Pretty sides together. With our whites with the marking side up. And we're going to go to the sewing machine. Now you can pin this if you want. I feel comfortable enough just to hold them and make sure that, you know, they're on top of each other correctly, but you can pin it if you want. And we're going to go to the sewing machine and we're going to sew on the blue lines on both of these. Okay, so let's go over to the sewing machine, which, like I told y'all, I'm not as prepared as last time, so I have not switched it over to sewing yet. It's still in embroidery mode. So I am going to start my machine. It's going to move my thing. And then when I click sewing, it's going to move my arm out of the way. Now it's out of my way. And I'm taking my little screwdriver and loosen up the screw that's holding the foot in place. This is my embroidery foot. It's got this special little cord on the back to plug in to make the laser work. So I hide that back there when I'm not using it. And this is my normal J or like zigzag foot. I'll put that on there. I'm going to change. This is an embroidery bobbin. I'm going to change this to just regular thread, which is for me is the same 40 weight top thread that I use, which I'm just doing white. And I'm going to do white thread on top. We load that up. And thread my needle. Okay, now I'm ready to sew. I'm going to go to my piecing stitch on my machine, and that's all I need to do. And now I'm just going to run just sew down these blue lines with these 2 pieces together. And hopefully I'm not blocking the camera. My leg for my camera's in my way. Let me put y'all a little closer. Okay. So this is super easy for me because I just need to keep my needle right on that blue line. So I like this. Because normally I'm not great at sewing straight lines. So I am not going to cut or anything. I'm going to just keep sewing and get the next one. Okay, and now I'm going to cut. And we're going to turn it around and do the other way. Okay, same thing. Now the second one's coming. And cut. So now we have these sewn on the blue lines, and we're going to go cut them apart now. All right. Ooh, Linda. Yeah, you got a new thing that I need. Okay, she says, smart to sew on diagonal line before cutting on bias. It's so hard to get it right if you cut first. Okay. And then Creative Grids has a cool ruler that has lines for marking built into this step. Cheap ruler too. Okay, I'm going to go look at that when we're done. Because what I did last class, every time we get together, I get in a little bit of trouble because y'all tell me about things I need to go buy. And I know I do the same thing to y'all. So we're even. But I didn't buy the potions quilting bundle because I was like, I got enough Halloween quilting designs. If it would have been the potions ladder quilt, I would have bought it, but that wasn't on sale. What else I went and bought? I added the ruler by George. Is that what it's called? I added it to my cart, but I didn't check out. And then there was something else y'all told me about that I did go buy. I don't know. So we're going to have the same thing today. After class today, Carly's going to go add some things to her cart. So now what I'm going to do is I have these two, and you see they're sewn here and sewn here, but I'm going to cut them now in the middle. And so for this one, I have a line, or your other option is just to put your 1/4 inch line on the blue line that one of them that you sewed. And now that's going to be perfectly down the middle, like that. And so like this one didn't have the purple line in the middle, so I'm just going to put my 1/4 inch mark on the line that I sewed. And now those are done. And this is also when you want to warm up your iron, which I always forget to do. And what we're going to do now is we're going to press all these seams open. So now they will look like this. These I pressed open. And having the little quilt clapper is helpful for this step because it helps it lock in good. So while my iron is warming up, let's go ahead and do these. So this is where that's as far as I got before. So now we're going to, I guess, we're dog ears. We're going to trim off the dog ears. And I guess that would be called what, squaring up the, I don't know if there's an easier way to do it. Let's see I think I got some cute little square grids. I'm checking my bag with all my quilting rulers real quick, but I think the little one I have is 4. It's this big. So, but this is what, and this is where maybe my rotating mat will come in handy. Let's get that out. Make some space. Way too many things going on here. Oh wait, not the ironing mat, rotating mat. I got this right. Okay, let's try this. So I guess we just line up the edges like this. And do this. Oop, I cut into that a little too much. I guess you don't need the rotating mat really. You just do this. So we end up with this. Is that right? Let's see. So how big is this? So the final little block is about 3 by 3. And we'll end up with 4 of these. And I think this is where, okay, like this ruler has a line here. That's only helpful if I was doing a 4-inch block, which that's what we are going to do in the end once all these little blocks are put together. Oh wait, let's do it this way. Anyone have any tips on doing this a better way? Please feel free to tell me, because like I said, this is the first time I've made half square triangles. Okay, so that one's done. Okay, I see ML Weber saying, I'm going to absolutely love the Trimmer by George. Yes, I'm excited to get that. I was waiting. I was looking at Hoop Sisters website because, like, this is my problem. In this prime example, I did it yesterday. When I go and buy something, I'm like, well, if I'm going to pay shipping, I might as well see what else I could possibly need from this website. So I put it in my cart, but then I was like, I wanted to look around a little bit more to see if there was something else that I should get. So, example, yesterday I was on OESD's website because next week's Sip and Stitch project is going to be patches. Look what I made. Let me show you. I did this one and I did this one. So I have a goal. I'll tell you about it after. But I'm playing with patches, right? And I just did it on a couple layers of tearaway stabilizer. And I've heard that the go-to stabilizer for patches is Badge Master. And that's something OESD makes. So I go to their website and I'm looking at Badge Master. And then, of course, and then I got a coupon. And I was like, okay, well, if I'm going to use my coupon, I might as well get some more stuff. So I got a whole bunch of stuff. And that's what happens when Carly shops. Okay. I got all these in my little trash bucket. Now I got my 4 half square triangles. So these were the ones I sewed earlier. I still have to press these, but I'm just leave these on the side and do them later. So we'll just continue working with this. The seam, I pressed the seams open. And so now let's see, what do we do? Now we're going to arrange them to make the pinwheel. So I'm looking at my book, and this one is like this. This one's like this. And this one's like this. And like this. So there's the pinwheel. Cute. And now we are going to sew this and this together like that. And this together. And we'll sew the 1/4 inch seam allowance down both of these sides. So just flip them over to where they're right. Get your pinwheel made. Flip them over to where they're now right sides together. And I'm going to bring them over to my machine like this where I don't accidentally sew them on the wrong side. So I'm going to walk to my machine like this so I don't mess this up. All right, let's go to the machine. Okay, holding it. I'm not, oops, sorry, kicking the camera. I'm not messing this up. Let's zoom in a little bit. Okay. Now is when, since I'm not the best at sewing, I'm going to put on my 1/4 inch guide foot. That's going to help me do my seam good. So I think we're matching up these here, make sure they're good. Okay, I'm already questioning if I laid this down in the right direction. So let me open this up and double check that I'm doing this. Is that right? No. Let me go check my book. See, that's not right. This is how it should be. Okay, so that's the one I sewed. And now this is how this one should be. So I'm going to do these like this. Make sure those seams are lined up. Move. Not moving. I think this is when it's helpful to have like a little piece of fabric back here to make sure things are moving. This is just some extra muslin. Let's do it. Nope. Let's cut. It might have ate my fabric a little bit. It's getting caught up here. Okay, let's try this little trick again. It's not happy. Maybe let me try from the other direction. So if I do this, I'm still sewing the same way, right? So those little pieces are at the end. All right. Now let's hope I did this right. So this, like this. Okay. So I still got my pinwheel. That's great. Now we're going to go press this. And then once we have it pressed, then we'll sew the top and bottom together. Okay. Just have my little iron on. I probably could use my big one. Okay. Nope. Okay. Now we have those pressed. And let's make sure I've still got this going the way I want. Okay, so white colored, white colored, white colored, white colored. And then I'm going to fold it over. And I'm going to make sure these seams line up. And I might go ahead and pin it just to make sure I do a good job. This is a lot of material to go through. Maybe I just clip it. Could clip it on this end too. Okay, but this is the side that I'm sewing on. Don't know if it matters, but yeah, I'm gonna sew on this side. So let's go back to the machine. And then I'm gonna come back and check the chat. Sorry, I haven't looked at it yet. Okay, this is gonna be a. Let me get my stiletto thingy. Let me get my good metal stiletto I got from Becky's husband. Nope, I don't want to move. What's going on? Is it this piece again getting caught? There we go. Oh, crap. Sorry. Too much of a heavy foot there. And cut. And yay, I made my first pinwheel. That looks pretty good, if I do say so myself. Right? Where's all my quilting friends? How did I do for my first one? Okay, and now we are going to press this. And this is super thick right here. And also a question from my quilty friends. Is there any way to reduce the bulk right there? Because that's super bulky. It should be fine now, because only time now a needle needs to go through it is for the embroidery section. So hopefully they won't get no trouble there. Okay. Checking the chat. Yay! Patty gives me approval. Linda, yay! She hopes she can find the black and orange fabric. She doesn't have the kit. It seems like somebody would have something cute, black and orange. We'll have to look around. Because like the polka dots are pretty basic. You would think you could find that. I don't know about maybe these colors together, but black and orange I would think we would be able to find. Yay, I am super proud of this. This looks pretty good. Awesome. Look at my points. Normally the only way I could get things to look this good is if I actually piece it together in the hoop like we did last class with the flying geese. So I'm very proud of this. I can't wait to show Debbie. It's my mother-in-law. I have to send her a picture. Yay. Okay, so what is next? Now that we sewed the pinwheel block together, press the seams open and repeat these steps for the other two pinwheels, and then square up the pinwheel block to measure 4.5 by 4.5. Is this where my little thingy is going to come in handy? This is 4.5. So yeah, we made it a lot bigger than it needed to be, huh? Now, I wonder if we should leave it alone. I'm going to do a test. I'm going to leave it alone. I'm not going to cut it now because I love my background quilting designs and that I can do a basting stitch and it will hold in place a lot better. And so I'm going to leave them alone, and I'm going to trim it after I have the quilting design on it. All right. So the large one is done. Y'all want to make a small one too? Make a little teeny tiny one. It's going to be cute. Well, I got before I switch it over to the embroidery machine. So let's see. So we're going to do the same thing as we did. We need 2 whites, 2 oranges. Save those for later. And we're going to flip over the white. We're going to draw our little sewing cheat lines. Quarter inch from the center. Okay. Actually, I'm thinking if we can hoop all this in one 6x10 hoop. We could probably do 2 little pinwheels at the top. So let's go ahead and make 2 pinwheels right now. 2 little ones. So then we can quilt them all together. And then I'll just quilt the other ones. I'll make the other ones later for homework. Okie dokie. So I got all that. And we're going to go put them pretty sides together with the orange. Pretty sides together. 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 And then we're going to go sew on both sides for all of these. So I'm going to take them to the machine like this. I can't mess this up because my lines are on it, so I know right on what side I'm supposed to sew. All right. I'm checking. So the chat. All right. Socorro saying it's bulky because of the SF-101. Definitely. I think that's why it's so bulky, is because of that. But I already ironed that on my fabric pieces. Okay, Renee said she found the dots on Etsy. So there is an option for you. All right, Paula. Paula had to go, but you can always watch the replay later. So have a great rest of your day. Let's go sew these. Okay, so white and orange. Let me go back to this foot. There's got to be a better. There we go. I always feel like I'm hurting my machine just dropping the presser foot on it. I do. Maybe that's a little better. Okay. Going on the blue line. Next. Just making sure they're on top of each other good. This little tape that I put on my machine right here, this is helpful for this because I'm making sure my line is on my red line. Like this blue line is lining up with my red line down here. That is helpful. Somebody recommended that to me. Some kind of sewing tape I got on Amazon. It's like washi tape, so you can replace it if it gets messed up over time. All right, cut. And now I got a little chain, and I'm gonna flip it around and do it on the other side. I still have bobbin thread. Yeah. And that would be my luck. I don't see any more bobbin thread. It's still there. We'll see. I know it was fairly low when I put it in there. And my machine normally tells me when the bobbin thread's out, but I've noticed it's only when I have a clear bobbin. When I put these metal ones in, it doesn't detect it, at least as well. I see thread in there though. Nope, I ran out. I knew it. I ran out back here. See? Let me wind the bobbin real quick. This was something, so here's a question for y'all, because I had someone ask me. Now, when I need, I for embroidery, I love to use pre-wound bobbins, right? I do not want to keep winding. I did it before. I don't recommend it. I buy a big old box of pre-wound bobbins for embroidery. However, sorry, let me back up so you can see what I'm doing. I'm winding the bobbin right here. For sewing projects or like specialty in the hoop projects where you want the back of your item is visible, you want your bobbin thread to match your top thread, I'll just wind a bobbin up here on my machine. And this lady wrote me and told me that she's having a lot of trouble with the bobbins that she is winding on her machine. They're not working good. I guess the tension is off. It's not winding correctly. So she asked if I've ever used like an independent bobbin winder, and I have not. So I looked on Amazon, and most of them had good reviews, but then most of them also, had people say bobbin didn't wind correctly. So if anyone has a recommendation of an independent bobbin winder that has not given you any trouble, please tell me so I can pass that information on to her. Okay, I stopped right here. All right. Okay, now we are done all of these. Okay. I'm checking the chat, but I don't think I see. All right. So I'm just cutting these little threads where what you call chained piece these together. Okay. And now we'll do the trick where we cut them all in the center. Let me do one at a time so I don't mess anything up. But I'm going to line up my 1/4 inch line on my ruler with my blue line here. And that should cut it right in the center. These are going to be tiny and cute. Okay. And now we need to iron. Make sure the iron is on. And we're going to press all of these open. And then we got to cut the dog ears off all of them. So this is going to take a little bit of time. But we're almost in the home stretch because the embroidery quilting part is going to be super easy. But we're going to make it in Brilliant so that we can combine them all together. We kind of went over this in the last class with the border blocks, but now you'll see it like really in action because we're going to make it from the get-go and send it to the machine. Yeah, I guess an option to help reduce the bulkiness of these is, I wonder if we could add the shape flex after you've made your pinwheel. Has anyone tried something like that before? The shape flex is supposed to help with puckering from the quilting. So I understand its purpose, but I'm wondering for the sake of the bulkiness for these particular pieces, if it would be helpful to piece it together, get our block like this, and then can we iron shape flex on top of it even though it has the seams? Would it be as helpful? That is what I'm curious about, if anyone has tried that. Okay. Sakura says Quilters Hallow has Candy Corn Quilt Shoppe fabric kit in stock. So if you are still looking for the fabric kit, Google Quilters Hallow, Hallow. Okay. Oh, Patricia says Becky at Power Tools with Thread uses a bobbin winder. Okay. Well, good. I can go see which kind she has. I almost bought one once for Amazon Prime Day, and then I never checked out. I put a whole bunch of stuff in my cart and then check out. So I never did get it, but I'm sure they all like pretty much work. But I'm wondering why the one on her machine doesn't work well. Maybe, you know what it may be? Let me tell her first. It may be how if she's using that horizontal spool holder, on her machine and then threading it through the bobbin path. That might be why. I'm gonna tell her to check that first. Okay, so can I do this a better way where we do it all together? I don't know. All right, let's just do one at a time to make sure I do it right. I don't know if y'all can hear that, but my dog is crying his little eyes out right now outside my craft room. So I apologize if y'all hear that, because he is, what's the word, incessant. He's just not happy when I have this door closed. But he won't walk in here because his little feet does not like the wood floors. He only likes the rugs. And the playroom right outside my door has a rug, so he just stays there. Okay, Elsa has a good point about my probably bad idea of piecing together first, then adding the SF-101, that it might actually create more bulk and the seams could pucker up. So, good point. There's got to be a better method to this, but maybe not. Almost done. I guess it's true what they say about quilting. It is mostly cutting and pressing with a small amount of sewing. Most of your time is spent cutting and pressing. Okay, finally done with that. And now we're going to make our pinwheels. So I think I got this now. Just alternating. No, this way. This way. Okay, so there's one. Doot. Doot. Like this. Okay, I'll probably do better like bringing this over to my machine, staying like this, than trying to fold it, because I'm pretty sure I'm gonna mess it up. So I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna take this whole little tray that is my cutting mat, and I'm gonna go over to my machine. Okay, got my little tray. I'm gonna put it on the side over here. And now, I don't know if you want to see this, but you can see my tray now. Okay, so I'm gonna go, got my top two pieces over. Line up those diagonal seams. Okay, and I've learned that I do better starting on the side that doesn't have the theme, because that is where I'm getting bogged down in the feed dogs. Okay, now it's on there. Good. Put my 1/4 inch guide foot, because I think that helps me a lot. Wait, I don't. I finished sewing everything, yeah. My top thread is not threaded. I must have just used what I had left over. I got lucky I even finished that. I forgot to put. When I finished sewing after loading my bobbin, I forgot to actually, come on. I forgot to rethread my top needle because I cut my white thread. So I got lucky that I even finished. That was pure luck. Because then my bobbin would have been good, but then I wouldn't have had any top thread. All right, thread the needle, Carly. Okay. I've done that several times. Where I cut the top thread and then I forget to rethread it. Nope, something's wrong. It's going. Saying to check the top thread. It's good. I don't know why it's not happy, but it's good. Okay, so now I got my two bottom pieces of the pin wheel, and this is when it doesn't like me. So this is how it's supposed to go this side, so I'm gonna flip it over. Let's try that. And I'm gonna have to rethread it. The machine thinks something's wrong, but it's working, I think. Okay, cut. Everything is sewing like it's supposed to, but the machine is not happy somewhere. So go ahead and re-thread the bobbin. And let's cut right here, pull through, and rethread the top. Rethreading usually solves most problems. All right, so we got those done. Now back to my little mat over here. I got my next pinwheel. These right sides together. Line up my little seams. Grab grabbing that. Okay, and then the bottom bit, right sides, like this, and then I'm going to flip it over. All right, and now we're going to go press these open. Okay. These are my little pieces I made. Okay, let's see if I did this right. This one's this way. Nope. Maybe. Yeah, that's right. Okay. Phew. Got nervous there for a second. Okay, this one's this way. And I remember I turned these upside down, so it's got to go this way. All right, so let's press them. And let me check the chat. Oh, Elsa said she had a little chihuahua that would lay at the entrance and not move until she was leaving. Yeah, I'm sorry for your loss. I know it's hard. I know Ozzy. Oh, my iron just shut off. So Ozzy's my Yorkie that is crying currently. He is going to be 13 in November. So I know it's coming. I try not to think about it. So I know a day will come where I will miss all of his crying. And take this. Okay, let's see if I get lucky with these pinwheels like I did my first one. And if I do, I'm going to buy a lottery ticket. We bought one, what night was that? Was it Saturday night? Here in Louisiana, I don't know if that was everywhere. And Powerball was up to like some crazy amount, like $1 billion or something. I don't know if that's everywhere. Is that just in our state? Don't know. But my husband went and bought some lottery tickets. We did not win. But if my pinwheels come out good on the first try, maybe we're going to get some lottery tickets. Okie dokie. Last bit of sewing now is this, right? Here to here. This bottom line. And here to here. So this way, yeah. Yeah. Okay, so this line, the right side of both of these. This one's kind of like doing this, so this one's probably not going to look that great. We're going to see. This side and this side. All right, don't mess this up. Nope, this one. Okay, I'm leaving this right here. It's in the direction I need it to be. Last time I clipped this, let's try that. But yeah, I find it's doing this like curve thing. But let's see if I can get it. Okay. Okay, now these. Next one. Oh shit. Sorry for cursing. The stiletto, the little bar above the presser foot. Hit the stiletto, scared me. Oh, I'm way off here. Yeeks. Let me cut this. This is like, you see how that's going? It's not good. Let me try that again. Maybe there is no lottery ticket in my future. I know I should go get a seam ripper, but I'm being stubborn. And I just want to stay right here and do it. Okay, I think I backed up farther enough. Okay. Okay. Let's try that again. This is just not lining up good. This is when I need a clip. Or maybe I need a real pin. I'm going to put a pin because then I won't have to take it out until right when I need to. Okay. Okay. Let's see how this goes. I'm still doing this good. And I'll take the pin out. This is when it's kind of trying to get stuck. There we go. Okay, let's see if that actually came out how it was supposed to. Let's go scope it out. Okay. So fingers crossed. Ooh, that one looks good. That one's good. Let's see how this one came out. This one's good too. It's a smidge off, but not bad. That's not bad at all. Yeah. Okay, maybe I am going to go get a lottery ticket. All right. This is where we got our super bulky seam. Okay, if y'all don't mind, I'm going to step out for a second and go put Ozzy in Abigail's bed because that's all he wants in life. He's just to lay in that bed. He can't jump up there. There you go. Happy now? That's his main problem. Is he's crying because he wants to go somewhere that he can't actually get to by himself. Okay. One thing ironed. Let's get the other one. And then we can finally move on to the embroidery bit of adding the background quilting. Can't even get this apart here. Okay. Oh, my iron is not on anymore. It would help if it was actually hot. Let it still, it was hot, but it's not as hot as it should be. I'll let it warm up. Oh, I love Linda. She says, no quilt police here. Thank you. I don't need any quilt police. Because I definitely will tell you I don't know the right way to do things. But that's the thing. There is no right way to do things. There's the way you do them and that you are happy with how they come out. Now, I'm all about you telling me a more efficient or a somewhat better way to do things, like cutting those dog ear bits. Seems like there's a better way we could do that. Helpful ways of doing things. Okay. That's going to be good enough. Yeah, that's good. Let me press them on the front too. All right, so now we're gonna get, let's go in brilliance. I think I could fit all of this in a 6x10 hoop. So two of the littles and one of the big. So let's go check that out. Let me make a new page. Wait, I'm gonna switch all over to my desktop. There we go. Okay, y'all should see in brilliance now. Let's make 6x10 hoop. Okay, let's back up. We can see the whole thing. Now we have, I need my organizational chart so I can see what I need. I need black and orange pinwheel is getting chevron 1 4x4. So that's the first one I need to go pull up. Let's go now where my embroidery designs are. I got a folder for Kimberbell. I got a folder for this quilt. I need the quilting bundle. And what I said, chevron 1 here. Embroidery files. My format. 4x4. So they have a horizontal and a vertical. And I can't remember what I printed out the old thing. Let's check my web. No, I don't know where the right one is. Give me just a second, guys. Do I have it open here? I do. Okay, I'll come back to my desktop. Here we go. Okay, this is my updated sheet that I need to print. Okay, this is us. Horizontal. That's what we need. Let's go back to Embrilliance. Back to my thing. Horizontal. So I'm going to click, drag and drop that there. And I'm going to move that down here. Okay, now let's look at here and do, okay, small pinwheel. I think they're all orange and white. So we have one that's Halloween 4, one that's chevron 1, and another that's Halloween 4. Let's knock out the 2 Halloween 4 ones. This is done in orange thread, dark gray. All right, so what I said, Halloween 4. Let's go back. Halloween 4. Embroidery files. We're doing block by block. And this one, right? 2x2. Drag and drop. And drag and drop. Do 2 of them. One here. One here. Try and get them as close to the side of the hoop as possible. That look right? Let me double check. It was Halloween 4, 2x2. Yes. Okay. Now we need to make it to where I can color sort it. So my chevron, that's my placement for my batting. Tack down for batting. I'm not doing a tack down, so I'm going to delete that step by just hitting delete on my keyboard. So now I got placement for batting. This is placement for the background fabric. I don't think we need that either, so I'm going to delete that. And then this is the basting stitch for my background fabric. I do want that because I didn't trim my blocks yet, so they're going to be bigger than what I need. So there we go there. I don't need to change any colors or anything because they're all different. And so now we'll do the 2 little blocks. Keep my batting placement. Delete batting, tack down. Delete background fabric placement. Keep background fabric basting stitch, tack down. And then this is the quilting. Now I can't, this is going to end up being dark gray and these are orange. So I need to change the color of this. So I'm going to hit the color chip. I can't have it actually orange because then it'll be the same color as that step and they'll stitch at the same time. So you can pick any color. Doesn't matter. As long as I end up making this little candy corn bit the same color so they stitch together. Okay, so now we're on the other small square. So we keep batting placement, deleting batting tack down. I'm deleting background fabric tack down. And I'm clicking on the quilting and I'm going to go to palette. I'm going to choose the same color I chose for the other quilting. So now all the placement stitches will stitch together once I color sort it because they're all the same color. So I'm going to go to Utility, Color Sort, New View. Now I can look at this. All my placement stitches, all my basting stitches, just this quilting because that's going to be dark gray, and both of those are going to be orange. So now this is ready to save to my USB stick, which I need to grab and plug in. Okay, USB stick is now plugged into my computer. And so I'm going to go to File, Save Stitch File As, and I'm going to name it Pinwheel Quilting. So I'm going to put at the front of it to keep them all together. This is Candy Corn Quilt Shoppe, so CCQS. And this is on my, USB stick. That's selected. I named it. I picked a format that matches my machine, and I hit save. And now I have to go safely eject my USB stick. So I'm going to click this little eject button. And now I can, where are we at? Okay, take it off, my USB off my computer, and go plug it in my machine. But we need to get the hoop and the stabilizer all set up. So let's do that now. Any questions about the embroidery stuff, please let me know. Okay, let's see. I'm checking the comments. Okay, y'all are talking about some other projects y'all are working on. That's fun. Okay, here's my things. I don't need this anymore. Okay, so here's my 6x10 hoop. And here's my stabilizer that I'm using instead of no-show poly mesh. I'm using this lightweight cotton muslin. And I cut a long strip of it, and it works great because I could put my 6x10 hoop this way on my strip, or I could put my 5x7 hoop this way on the same strip that I cut. Okay, so that is ready to go. A little wrinkle there. My stuff is falling. That's fine. Okie dokie. So we're going to go to the machine. Oh, what else do we need? We need batting. I don't think I finished cut. Where'd I put the batting? So this is going to end up looking like this, right? But here we go. I need batting. I cut some pieces, but I didn't finish. So let's set this aside and quickly cut these. So these are 4x4. So these are my pieces for my large pinwheels. And then this one should be right too. Yep. Okay, so there's my large pinwheel battings. And then let me go to a smaller. And these are 2x2 for the small ones. They're going to be so tiny when they're done. Okay, so I got my batting. So for this hoop, we need just one 4x4 and 2 of these, plus the fabric. And I'm going to need my glue stick. And I'm going to need my water-soluble thread. And I need my orange for these. And dark gray, I think, is already by my machine. Okay, so these are all the things that I need to bring to the machine. All right, so let's head over there now. Oh, Elsa has a good point. She says, doesn't my embroidery program send it over to my machine? It does. It used to do it very well, but lately it has been mad at me, and I messed up something with my wireless network. I don't know what I did, but it does not like to send my files wirelessly anymore. And I haven't spent the time playing with it to fix it. So in the meantime, I have just been doing the old-fashioned USB route. But yes, the Stella Air and Brilliance works with any Baby Lock or Brother machine that has wireless capabilities. And the Stella Air has wireless capabilities, and you can send it. But like I said, I don't know what I did, but I messed something up, and I just haven't fixed it yet. Okay, so I'm putting my regular pre-wound white embroidery bobbin back in, but I need to put my embroidery foot back on. I'm going to take off my sewing foot. And embroidery foot's back here. Tighten that, and then plug a little cord in the back. And I got my USB stick. Plug that in the machine. Go to home screen. Embroidery. I'm gonna move my embroidery arm back in spot. USB stick. And here we go. And it's loaded. Set, embroider. Ready to go. So let me get my stuff off. And I'm going to keep the white thread on there. It's already on there. So my first step is the placement stitch for the batting. So that can be done in any color thread. So I'm going to lower the presser foot and go. And this just kind of hangs off. Okay, get my just kind of cleaning up my mess I got around my machine right now while that's stitching. Get my batting ready, and then I'm going to use my glue stick. There's dark gray and orange. Put those up there. Okay, y'all can kind of see over here, huh? So I am going to take my hoop off, and I'm going to lay it on this mat I have over here. And I'm going to use my glue stick and just add some glue on the inside of the placement stitch where the batting is going. And that's just to help hold it into place. Okay. And on a nice flat surface. And then I'm just going to put my batting right where it's supposed to go. And it's already cut to size, so I don't have to do any trimming. This is why I skipped the batting tack down step, because I knew I wasn't going to need it because I already had it cut to size. If you have it cut bigger, do that batting tack down step, and then you just trim around it like an applique. Now, the next bit is, I don't think it's necessary for a placement stitch for the background fabric. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to center my pinwheel on my batting, which normally is pretty easy to do, but these are a little bit more difficult. Because normally I'm just putting one piece of fabric, not something I piece together. So this is a little harder, but since I didn't trim my blocks to size, am I making sure that this bit is actually right in the middle of that little piece of batting. All right. So this is me kind of guessing. We'll see how this comes out. And if I do a bad job, then y'all know not to do this. All right. Now I may go ahead and put some tape down for this, because the next step, it's going to do the basting stitch for all of them. But I don't want nothing to move on accident, since it is important that this is in a specific spot. At least these two up here. This one is not going to move. This one's first too. Okay. So that is our pinwheels now just on top of our batting. You have the option to maybe even spray some adhesive on the back of your pinwheel to make sure it stays right where you want it to be. Now I'm going to change threads and go to my water-soluble thread. And that's going to do the basting stitch, which then I will remove before I trim the final block size. Okay, wish me luck. And now it's going to go, I think, to this one. Oh, it's pretty centered. It might be a smidge off. All right, so what I'll do is I'll test it. My pinwheels that I still have left to make for homework, what I'll do is I will actually trim those after I piece them together. So like I'll trim them to size and then put them on here, and then I'll let y'all know which one came out better. All right, now we're ready for the background quilting. So we just need to change to the thread colors that we need. So this one is getting dark gray. And then I'll get my orange thread ready for the next two. I'm interested to see how it handles going right through the center with all that pulp. Oh, stop. Eek. You saw it, it like pulled and dragged. Okay, I think it's okay. It pulled it slightly. Maybe slow your machine down on that spot. Okay. All right, so that's done. And now the two little ones that have orange for their thread color. Okay, let me watch these, make sure we don't have the same problem with the bulkiness right here. There's a lot of stitching that actually happens in the center. That's where the 3 candy corns meet. 5 candy corns. Okay. That looks good. Now it's going to go over here and just make sure this stays down. Okay. All done. And now we have 3 of the pinwheel blocks quilted and ready. So I just have 3 more to go. Okay, so here we go. Could save that tape for later. Pop that out the hoop. And we'll go ahead and cut away the stabilizer right there. And then we'll get the basting stitch out and press them before trimming them. I want to take a closer look at how I centered, if I did a good job of centering. I think the little ones, not as much, but I think I have a solution. Because the big pinwheels don't matter because they're going to be next to other blocks. They're not going to be next to other pinwheels. The 3 little pinwheels end up being stacked on each other. So I do want to make sure those seams line up. So I may not trim it exactly where it wants me to trim based on the quilting. I'm going to trim it based on the actual center. Because I can, if I look super closely, you see the little candy corns in the center? That is supposed to be the center of the pinwheel. And you see how it's off just a smidge? Same with this one. The center is here, and it should be here. So I'm going to end up trimming mine where this is the center, and the quilting won't really matter. Does that make sense? So maybe for my last little one I'm going to make, I will pre-trim it before I put it on my hoop to quilt and see if that one comes out better. But that design is chevron on the other little pinwheel, so you won't even really be able to tell the center based on the quilting. Okie dokie, what do we need? Now I'm gonna need my rotating cutting mat. I never put this together good. I guess put it right on top of each other. That's the best way. Huh? There we go. That's rotated. Okay, so what's the first thing we need to do? We need to get the water-soluble stitch off of there. All right, let me go check the comments. I haven't looked. Okay, so Elsa has a good tip for us. Let's see what she says. Mark the center of your batting, then put the center of your pinwheel on top. So that would help, yes. For let me turn my big iron on while I'm doing this, so that we can prep these when we're done. That would help, yes. Marking our batting, and then so we have something to line our pinwheel up with. And I'm just spraying water right on the seam where we did the basting stitch to dissolve that water-soluble thread. If you use regular thread, you just need to use your seam ripper and get it out, versus what I'm doing. So I just kind of soak it, rub it, and then on the back, it's got regular bobbin thread, but you should be able to just pull it right out. Okay. And now we can press them. Yeah. And that will also help dry where I wet it so much. Except I'm steaming it, so that's probably not helping. Okay. Let me do this. All right. So something I noticed, one of the reasons why I didn't trim it down is because what Elsa said after that, fear of the presser foot getting caught under the fabric. Because when we cut it to size, it's going to fit perfectly where I did my basting stitch. It's going to fit in there, so the basting stitch won't even hold it down. So I prefer to have the block be bigger. And we did that with our other sew along, the Oh So Delightful. We cut our blocks to be bigger for that step, for that purpose. But this quilt is not set up the same way because some of the extra blocks are several things that have to be pieced together first. So then we'd have to calculate piecing them together bigger, which I did not do. All right, so here's our blocks pressed and ready. And now I need, where's my towel? Okay. I need my orange pop ruler. I need the square one. Is this it? This one? Isn't there a little square one? No, I use this one, right? So this one serves both of them. So this is different than the orange pop rulers you saw me use last time, because this is like you put your block in there and then you cut. This is the same thing as this ruler for the small one. So I could use either one of those for this one. Oh, Quilt One said, yes, that is a cover I have over my iron. It's made by Bow Nash, and it helps me from getting things stuck because I do that on a regular basis. Seems like I always have my fusible stuff the wrong way. Now, let's try both of these. This has a nice line. This one has a 2. And I have a center. So I'm going to run that line here. That's not helping me. This one needs to be that little. That's tiny. I think I'm I don't know what to do. Oh, you know which one I might even like better? Don't I have this stripology ruler? Would this help me? Because then I can... This, it has the... Look at that. Ooh, that's fancy. Now I see lines here, and I see lines here, and I see the line across, and up and down. That's perfect. My lines aren't perfect. My stitch lines aren't exactly perfect, but it's close enough where I can get this. Where's the center? Wait, do I have this right? Okay, if I line the center, that's good. I think. Okay, that's going to be good enough. And I want this, if that's 6, I want this to be 2.5. I don't know if I can use this because what I have to do, 1.25 inches on each side. Would this work? This is 1.5 inches. Now I'm scared. I thought that was good. This will work good for this one. This one I can definitely do because I have the 4.5 inch one. But I'm nervous. Where do I cut this one? So if I go 1.5 inches this way and 1.5 inches this way, I end up with a 3-inch block, not a 2.5 inch block. Yeah, let me stick to my Kimberbell one. So, all right. So Patricia's saying she has the stripology ruler. She hasn't used it like that. I think it will be helpful for my bigger one. That's why. So I guess it's probably hard to see on camera, but there are squares. So they have a square for 4.5 inch. They have a square for 6.5, 8.5, 10.5, 12.5. So it shows you where to cut for those, but there is no square for 2.5. I don't think I could do that with that ruler. Now with the Kimberbell one, this line here is the 2.5. And normally where I have this line here, I would line up with these marks. But I know that's going to be a little bit off-centered, so I'm not going to use that as a guide. So let's see. I'm going to eyeball it, but keep that diagonal there. And line up these points with those lines. Something like that. Okay, here goes nothing. If I don't get it right, then these pinwheels will end up being possibly made with different fabric because I don't know if I have enough of this anymore. Okay, now I'll be able to line up. It's that first cut that I'm scared, but now this will line up. I could do these edges with this. Okay, fingers crossed. That looks okay. Now let's try this one. Okay. Okay. So now, yeah, that's going to work. So when I piece these and I have one more together, this line will be nice and centered. My dad keeps calling. Let me tell him I'm doing this. Okay. So that is the little pinwheel. That's done. Okay, now we could do the big pinwheel. And this one, I have this line and I have a center mark. This one's a little bit easier to visualize, I find, than the little one. So I got this line here and this diagonal line. Okay, and then the big one's done. So hopefully that is right. I think it looks right. Yes. Okay, yay, we're done with half of the pinwheels. Now we just have one more little one and two more big ones to make. All right, any questions? Let me know. These came out cute. Pinwheels, yay, I can make them. This one I'm very proud of. Look at the points on that. That is good. I'm going to take a picture of this and send it to my mother-in-law. This one is okay. I'm going to focus. It doesn't want to focus. Oh well. This one's good. It doesn't want to focus. There we go. Maybe a little bit. That one looks good. So yay, I'm very proud of my first pinwheels. Okay, so you have your other ones as homework. You can play around with your method. If you haven't put on the SF-101 on the back, or maybe even take some scrap fabric and try it and see if that helps it not be so bulky, because it did catch on this one when it was sewing, embroidering the quilting. It looked like my needle got stuck when it hit this center spot. And luckily it didn't mess anything up, but what I can see is it skipped a stitch. Right here, I could see where it skipped actually a couple stitches, so where those stitches are wider than the rest. So maybe not adding the Pellon SF-101 at all to these blocks may be beneficial. I think they'll still come out great as long as you press them good before putting them on the machine to quilt. So that's an option for you. Also, another option you can try is after you piece it, trim it before you add it to your hoop for quilting. So that's some things we can play around with, and you can figure out what method you like best. So that was my first try. I think I'm happy with it, but I might try trimming them before quilting them next time. All right. Okay, so any questions? Okie dokie. So our next class is next Tuesday. Where's my chart? Here we go. Next Tuesday, September 16th. That class is going to be at lunchtime instead because my girls have doctor's appointments in the morning. So Tuesday, September 16th at 12 p.m. Central Time. And for that class, we're going to be working on the sign. I wrote sign. I think in the book it's named Show and Share. Let's see. Yeah, Show and Share. That's that real name of the block, but it's a sign. And what else? Ooh, one of the witches. So we'll do one witch, and then you'll finish up the other two witches. Each witch is a little different, but the overall process is going to be very similar. Two of the witches only show kind of the hat and the feet, and then there's one witch where they show a little bit more of her dress. So it's just another piece of applique. So we'll pick one of the witches to do live, and then the other ones will be homework. Okay. And then next week is going to be my normal YouTube sip and stitch. And we're going to be working on patches. And I showed y'all earlier, this is the patch we're going to make. It's a little football patch. And I used Embroidery's patch artist program to make this. This is one of the patches that it comes with, the football, and it comes with the envelope already. So you just type in what you want. I used like a faux leather to do it. And I added some adhesive. After I was done with the patch, I added some adhesive to it, and I ironed it on this piece of t-shirt material. And I'm actually about to go wash some towels. I'm going to throw this in the wash with my towels, and I'm going to see if it stays on there good. And I'm not worried about the faux leather so much. That shouldn't be a problem. It could get wet. But I'm just going to see how this holds up after washing, because what I want to do is I want to make a bunch of different patches and iron them all over a shirt and make myself a cute football shirt. So this is one of the other patches I made. Again, I made this with patch artists. So we're going to talk a lot about patch artists, and we're going to go through the process of actually stitching out a patch. So that is going to be next Friday. What day is that? September 19th. And that'll be at 10:30 in the morning on my YouTube channel. So Patty asked a list of things for patches. So I need to update the Sip and Stitch homepage, but you have a few options. I made these patches just using tearaway. I ended up having to use like 2 or 3 layers of tearaway though, especially for this one, because this is the first time I made this one. This is an all thread patch. Like this is this white bit, that's all thread. So there's no material or nothing fabric in there. And so this one was really dense. And even though I put a couple layers of tearaway, when it started stitching it, the tearaway was pulling away when it was filling in this white section. So there's also woven wash away. You could try several layers of that. And then I just ordered, what is it, OESD, their Badge Master stabilizer. So I'm hoping to get that in before next Friday's show. So either I could test it before we do the show or I'll use it on the show. So few options for stabilizer. And then for filling in the football, you can use fabric, you can use faux leather, you can use, lots of people like what they call patch twill or polyester twill. That's something else I ordered from OESD. Dime makes something called poly patch twill. So I haven't used it before, but I ordered some, again, hoping to get it in before the show next week. But that's basically it. You need some sort of stabilizer. That I'm trying not to use cutaway because I want to make the patch where it ends up just popping out. You can use cutaway stabilizer, but then you're going to have to trim it by hand after. I'm treating this more like an applique than cutting it after it's done. But there's several ways to make patches. So you could pretty much use anything you have on hand already in your craft room as far as stabilizers and fabrics. And then the adhesive, I had, where's it at? You know how we use Heat and Bond Light for all of our applique stuff? I bought one time Heat and Bond Ultra. This is the red one. This is the one I tell people don't use. This is not needle friendly. You don't want to sew through this or embroider through this. But once you're done with everything, you can iron it onto the back of the patch. And this is a stronger adhesive for putting on when you're done sewing and embroidering everything. So testing this, and then I bought OESD's version of this ultra strong hold iron-on adhesive. So we'll test that one out too and see if one works better than the other. So that's how we get the patch onto the t-shirt, is a super strong fusible adhesive. Let's see. Yes, and Embroiance usually always has a sale going on their website. Whether or not they have a coupon code right now, I don't know. I think they had one for Labor Day. We'll have to go check. Okay, Hope had a good question. If we trim them before we quilt them, won't that affect the final size? So we did this for the border block. The border block, this one. So we made this in our last class. This was 2.5-inch squares that we pieced together. And when it was done being pieced together, it ends up being 4.5 by 6.5, which is the size we need for this block. And so I laid that pieced together fabric down. That's the perfect size for this, 4.5 by 6.5, and quilted on top of it. So with this one, I really didn't have to trim it when it was done. Now, will it affect the size as far as possibly the quilting pulling it in a little bit? Maybe, but that's where the SF 101 comes in, that is supposed to prevent any kind of puckering happening. So this is an example of a block that was made to size before quilting, and it still came out good. So let's see, the final size is 4.5 by 6.5. Like it's right there. So I have good hope that if I trim a pinwheel to say 2.5 by 2.5 before I quilt it, it will still be okay. All right. Oh, Kimberbell has their version of something for patches too called Bond Pro. Okay, we can check that out too. Hope has a good question. Do you have to have patch artists in order to make a patch? Technically, no. You can buy pre-made patch designs. I personally think you can take anything that is an applique and turn it into a patch. So we could talk about that in class too. The thing that makes patch artists cool is that it has found a way to mimic, where'd my patches go? It's found a way to mimic the traditional patch marrow stitch, which normally you would need a specialty machine just for this marrow stitch. If I'm saying it right, it's like MERROW. And let's see if you can look at this close enough to see what I'm talking about. Do you see this stitch, the purple going around? That's not a normal satin stitch. That is a marrow stitch. So that is what Patch Artist is giving you. It is giving you the ability to do this stitch. And with this patch, for instance, all I did was use my lettering tool and typed in LSU. And this is a font I bought from Creative Appliques. That's actually a foam 3D font. You see how the foam's poking out? So I just used my lettering tool. I chose the font I wanted and I typed out what I wanted. Then with Patch Artist, with a click of a button, you can choose it to be a shape like a circle or a rectangle, or you can choose something called page wrap or something wrap, and it will perfectly offset whatever shape you have. So in my case, it's my letters, and create it so that it goes like a little bubble around your item. So this was one that I created. And then this Patch Artist also comes with a bunch of like pre-made patches, including all kind of sports balls and emblems and frames, all kinds of cute stuff. And so then all you're doing, and it already has a place for lettering on it to where the lettering is kind of warped to fit. So if you notice with the tigers, it gets bigger. It goes down here and comes back up to fit the shape of the football. That's all done for you. All I had to do was click the lettering and type in what I wanted here. So that comes with Patch Artist as well. But in reality, I could take, say, even, let's look at the designs. Let's see if we could find something good. The pumpkin. The pumpkin would be a great example. We could, let's see, where's the close-up of the pumpkin? We can take this satin stitch pumpkin applique and delete maybe like the needle and the pin, so it's literally just the pumpkin. And I could stitch that and make that a patch if I wanted to. And it has a satin stitch edge. So you could take any applique design and stitch it on tear away, wash away, badge master, whatever the case may be, and turn it into a freestanding patch. But it'll have a normal satin stitch edge versus the fancy patch marrow stitch. But that really may not matter. It depends on the person. That's going to be a personal preference thing. And yay, and I forget about this. So there are several patches that you could get for free on Embroidery's website. If you go to Embroidery and go to their projects section, they have all kinds of good free designs, including some free patches that will come as a BX file. So not quite the same as our fonts, but it gets stored in your library section in Embroidery. And they have a really cute Halloween one. In fact, it's looks like a black cat, and the smile on the black cat, you can put a name. That's super cute. But yeah, there's lots of fun stuff on the Embroidery's website. And if you would like to learn more about libraries, envelopes, all the things that you can do in Essentials, I have a full course that teaches you all of those things, all the tools that come with Embroidery's Essentials, step-by-step video tutorials teaching you everything about it. And that course is called Embroidery Essentials. And there should be a link for it down below if you ever want to, if you're struggling learning Embroidery's Essentials, this will really, really help you. So yeah, I just wanted to tell you about that. All right. Okay, that's all for today, guys. I'll be back on Thursday. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I will see you next time. Bye, guys.